all they are fundamentally. And this is kind of what they look like. And over on the right-hand side, you can see a cell where all the mitochondria have been labeled in red. And you can see that there are vast numbers of them in our cells. There could be thousands of them in the cells. And like all batteries, as we age, the battery runs down, and then it does something that your car battery does as well. It starts to produce what we'll call acid. It starts to leak something which is inflammatory, and we call it reactive oxygen species. But let's just say it produces something now which is working against you. And it's one of the reasons why, as we age, we find inflammation. We find inflammation in our joints. We find inflammation in our muscles, which we don't recover from quite as well, because the charge on the battery goes down and the battery starts to produce acid instead of energy. So two things: can we increase the power in the battery, and can we also reduce the acid that's leaking from it? So one of the reasons that I'm particularly interested in, why I think this is really relevant to us, is that some parts of our body use a lot of energy and other bits don't. To a first approximation, your thigh bone does not use much energy, but there are two places in your body where you use vast amounts of energy. The first and the most surprising one is your retina. Your retina uses more energy than any other organ in your body. And because of this, it ages rapidly and it suffers from inflammation. Why do we use so much energy? Well, you don't notice it, but as you go from a darkish room to a very, very bright room, the battery has got to change the power it gives to the amplifier. The amplifier is always being turned up or turned down because of the light levels we go through. And the other organ that is not in the least bit surprising is the brain. The brain consumes enormous amount of ATP. And when our energy runs down, we find we're getting diseases now that are very common. So we get Alzheimer's disease, we get Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is fundamentally a mitochondrial disease. And we get macular degeneration. Macular degeneration, as with these other aging diseases, increasing enormously, and it's about mitochondria. So mitochondria regulating the way we age, regulating our health spans. So what's light got to do with it? Well, mitochondria are very sensitive to light. This is quite surprising. And our light in our world is changing enormously. So here is a diagram of the wavelengths of light that is in our daylight. Now, we don't see most light that is out in the atmosphere.
Hey, my English not so good.
Do you mean my